Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, as some of you might know, I have a master's degree in psychology. And for many years I worked in the field at psych hospitals and counseling and doing all that kind of thing, and I really thought it was great. But I found a better field, stand-up comedy, and that's what I do now. But today I'm going to talk about two psychologists who have disgraced themselves and the entire practice of psychology. These are John Jessen, who also goes by the name of Bruce, and James E. Mitchell. They designed and supervised the implementation of the CIA torture program. They often participated in the actual torture of prisoners. Now, they began in the military helping to train soldiers to resist interrogations, a worthy effort. But after 9/11, they went over to the dark side. They not only designed the program, but actively lobbied for it. And they even participated in the torture of some of the prisoners. They based the program on experiments in learned helplessness that had been conducted beginning with Pavlov, but they've been conducted over the years. And here is how the experiment goes. There are two groups. There are groups of dogs, right? And one group of dogs, they're in a cage and they get shocked, but if they move to another section of the cage, then they're safe and they won't get shocked. But there's another group of dogs that they get shocks, and no matter what they do, they can't escape from the shocks. Now, after a while, the dogs lie down and whimper on the bottom of the cage. I understand that all kinds of experiments happen in different fields, but this is a kind of fucked up one. But anyway, the idea is that the dogs become totally helpless and compliant. But there's nothing in that experiment that would lead anyone to believe that torturing a human being will result in good intelligence. Matter of fact, yeah, maybe you might get a more compliant prisoner from doing that. But any inference, when you experiment with animals, anything that you infer to humans is pretty much a leap. But these guys were willing to take that leap. And the reason why they were willing to take that leap is because they're sick and twisted and perverted individuals. Not only that, but they're lousy psychologists as well. Like I said, there's nothing in those experiments that would lead anyone to believe that you could get worthwhile information from torture. And especially since there's a whole history that comes into play, that we know that certain kinds of information have been gotten under torture. Information that is impossible to be true, like people flying on broomsticks, or changing into animals, or having sex with Satan. These are the kind of statements people have made under torture. The first prisoner that Jessen and Mitchell interrogated is pretty well known. That was Abu Zubaydah. Now, Abu Zubaydah had been providing lots of useful information to FBI interrogators who were not using coercive techniques. But then Jessen and Mitchell stepped in and began to torture him. And the record is clear. They got nothing. They got nothing at all. And despite that, they said that the torture was effective and that it should be used as a template in future interrogations. And here is the justification that they used. The fact that they got no information gave them confident assessment that Abu Zubaydah has nothing else to tell them. That's the memo they sent to the CIA. So these assholes use the fact that they got no information to justify the further use of torture. Why? Because the US government, in its total and complete idiocy, gave them $81 million of the taxpayers' money to run this fucking program. Talk about just throwing money away on stupid stuff. Imagine getting $81 million to produce nothing. You can't do better than that. Now, I don't know what these guys are doing now that the torture program has ended, but they are still licensed to practice psychology here in the United States. So remember the names: John Jessen, aka Bruce, and James E. Mitchell. If you are seeing a psychologist by either one of those names, find someone else. You're better off just being crazy. Thanks for listening.